Hello, beautiful community. Let's make a couple of comments about the broader implications of the alleged phone call between Trump and Putin and what was allegedly said a couple of days ago. Now, I don't have any information about what happened in that phone call, but one of the plausible hypotheses going around is that Trump would have talked about freezing the war along the lines of conflict, and Putin would have said, well, I can't do that because of Kursk, and Trump would have said, well, sort that out, and Putin would have allegedly then said, okay, well, I'll try to do that by the end of January. So it could be a product of that conversation, speculatively and hypothetically speaking, that Putin has allegedly given a command to clear the Kursk Oblast by the end of January. A question that arises there is, would Trump put any pressure on Ukraine to be less determined in their resistance in Kursk? And I don't know the answer to that question. The trouble, however, is that for all of the endless talk about Trump's peace plan, that he doesn't have one. His peace plan largely amounts to two things. I want to stop the war, A, and B, I want to stop the war in a way that doesn't have significant negative impact on my own power. But selling Ukraine out would have an impact on Trump's power. It would have an impact on China-Taiwan. It would have an impact on the strength of US alliances with its European powers. And it would have a direct impact on Trump's power, because if early on in his term he loses Ukraine, that would be a question hanging over him. It would look like it's a failure for which he's answerable. On Putin's side, Putin wants two things from a peace deal or a cessation of the war, if he wants it at all. And that is, number one, a progressively weakening Ukraine, and number two, an unprotected, undefended Ukraine without Western security guarantees. If Putin doesn't get these two, on the current trends of how the war is going, it is illogical for Putin to make a deal. And that's a very difficult gap to bridge. Now, Putin could straight away announce the full extent of his demands for cessation of the war, and that may mean that there's nowhere for negotiations to go, or Putin may sort of hold back his full requirements and let some kind of process of negotiation go, and then introduce these requirements. But as things stand, it's very difficult to see how that gap can be bridged, because Putin has no good reason to settle for anything other than a very significant weakening of Ukraine and the putting of Ukraine in a position that is undefended and protected from both future Russian attack and from various Russian mechanisms of destabilizing Ukraine's governability. We'll talk more about the details. Lots of love for now.